Hello and welcome. This is our first session on Spark AR Studio, and in this session we are going to install Spark AR. It is called as MetaSpark now, and we are going to create our first augmented reality effect. So, to begin with, we have to first download and install MetaSpark. So, for this, in your machine you can go to your browser, open your browser, and in the search I am just going to type MetaSpark, and the very first link you are seeing here, MetaSpark Studio, it is from sparkar.facebook.com AR Studio. So, click on this link and this will bring you to this site sparkar.facebook.com, to this page, and in this page if you scroll down you have the downloads MetaSpark Studio link here. Click on this link and it will take you to the download page, and in the download page we have MetaSpark Studio for Windows and Mac OS, and then to play this effect we have MetaSpark Player available for Android, iOS and MetaQuest, and also to play this effect on desktop we have Windows and Mac OS app. Right now we are going to click on this MetaSpark Studio for Windows. Click on this, and as soon as I click on this, you can see here this file is getting downloaded. This is around approximately 1 GB. I will click on this folder and I will come to my download location, and in the download you can see here V167 is version 167. This is the latest version. So, I am just going to double click it to start my installation. So, you can see it is saying preparing to install. Okay. So, now in this window I will just click next here, and you accept the term license agreement and click next. And one thing is, if you are going to create your application for iOS devices, it says that you should compulsorily download iTunes. So, right now let us leave it because we are going to test it only on Android. For iOS I am going to show you to later. So, right now you doesn't need iTunes. I will click next, and this is the location. See, program files MetaSpark Studio, and in the version number folder it will be installed. Click next and click install, and you have to wait now. Okay, now the installation is complete. Now I will click finish here, and actually now you can see on your desktop shortcut, actually the location of install will be actually in C, program files. If you come to MetaSpark Studio, inside this in V167 you will have all the files, and here the main executable is this AR Studio Windows.exe. Now just double click to launch it. So, wait for this program to get open. So, as soon as it launches, the very first thing is it is going to ask you to log in with your Facebook account. So, I am going to click here to agree for the terms and condition and click login. So, when I click on login, now you are ready to start working with MetaSpark Studio. So, it may show you some help files initially, but this is the main window where we are going to start working here, and click on create new, and I will click on blank project to start a blank project. Now, before we start building our first interface, let us now understand the complete interface of MetaSpark Studio. So, actually if you take MetaSpark Studio, it is basically divided mainly into 5 sections. The very first section which you are seeing on the top left hand side is called as the scene section. The scene section contains all the objects that we are using in the scene, and below the scene, and as of now in the scene section you can see you have a device, you have a camera, you have one focal distance which contains an ambient light and direction light and a microphone. So, these are the devices by default which will be added to our scene, and below the scene panel we have the assets where we can import, say for example the photographs, the 3D model, the textures, the materials, all these things can be imported as assets and it can be used here. And the third panel is the actual scene. And if you have a look at the scene, you can see here very clearly that in this scene you are seeing our device, this small square, this is our phone, and in the front from the camera phone you are seeing the image, and the image that is projected over here is the camera image. Okay, and whatever you are seeing here, this is the 3D scene where we will place our objects, move our objects and manipulate all our objects in this 3D scene. And the panel we have is the simulator. This is the simulator. So, simulator, and you have show video library, you have switch back to back camera, and you can rotate the handset like this. So, it is series, you can switch to back camera and front camera. You can see how it changes here. When I click on back camera, see this is the back camera and this is the front camera. So, these are the controls we have here, and if you click here you can simulate touch, simulate orbit. By default simulate orbit will be on, and here this, if I click here I can actually undock it, I can just resize it and use it anywhere. I will just dock it back. We have completed the 4 panels, and the 5th panel is this properties panel. So, whenever you select any of the items or objects, say I select the camera here, all the properties of the camera are listed over here, and similarly if I select the ambient light here, all the properties of ambient light is listed over here. Direction light, you have all the properties listed here, and apart from this, next to this scene you have layers. I will come to layers later, where we will use multiple layers to place object above one another. We are going to discuss it later. Now, before we create the effects, the thing is, right now if you see here, you are seeing a person's face appearing, and this is the image which is used as reference. So, to adjust this image, if you come here on the left hand side, you have one tab called as video. So, if I click on the video tab, you have various options here. So, one is actually the devices, all the capture devices you have in your computer will be listed over here. Right now my webcam is here, and apart from it you have real time simulation at the bottom. So, this same video tab is also present here. Here also I can access it. So, right now what I am going to do is, I am not going to use this person's video, I am going to use my own image over here. So, for this I am going to choose my input device here. My own image can be used as the reference. So, the camera image coming through my webcam, you can see it here. So, now to begin with, I need some assets, and actually for this we will come to the assets window, and in the assets window you can either take the asset directly from your computer. If I click on from my computer, I can take the assets that has been present on your system like pictures, textures, 3D models, but I will cancel it. For this class, I am going to make use of the ready-made available assets from Facebook. So, if I click on AR library here, in library you have various kinds of assets available here. So, you can see here you can have 3D objects. So, these are the say animals. So, you have variety of animals available here, then you have variety of food items available here. All these are ready-made 3D models, and apart from this you can create your own 3D shapes. But below that you have a huge collection of assets coming from Sketchfab. So, you can make use of these models, and below that you have music and sound. You can take all ready-made music, royalty free music from here. Then you have patch assets, which are the logic or the code logic. Say for example, I move over my head and some object has to move. So, when I blink my eye, something should happen. So, this kind of logic is applied directly through these patch effects. And then below that you have textures. You can add these textures. Basically, these are used for shaders. Then you have blocks. Blocks means this is a template, ready-made template available to you, using which you can customize your effect. and then you have script packages, all are JavaScripts. So, Spark AR Studio supports JavaScripts. You can write your own JavaScript and use it. This part I will come later. And then you have color grading, color LUTs, color lookout tables. So, you can actually, this color LUTs can change or color grade the video you have added to Spark AR Studio, or the video coming from actually the camera. So, the camera image also it can do the color grade in real time. So, in these assets right now what I am going to do is I will come to blocks, and if you scroll down and I will click view all, and in this block I am going for this session just to explore the effect, I will use this makeup effect. And when I click on makeup effect, you have this option here, import free, because this is around 300 kilobytes. So, if I click on import free, immediately what happens is this asset will be downloaded for me. Okay, now if I want this effect, right now I have added the makeup effect, but there is no effect applied on my face already. Okay, so if I want to apply this effect to my face, what I have to do is I have to come back to scene here, and I have to just drag this makeup effect and put it over here. So, as soon as I drag it into this window, it goes and sits inside the focal distance, and immediately you can see the makeup applied to my face. So, you can see the makeup is applied, and you have all the parameters here. So, to test it, say for example, I want to change my eyelash color from green to something say dark green like this. I choose a color and I can set the eyelash color opacity here by changing my opacity. Then you have the eyebrow length, you have all the options which are present over here. So, even if I wear the specs, you can see how the effect is being reproduced on the eye. So, you have lightness, saturity, specular is how much shiny is my lips. Okay. So, if my lips is too much shiny, I can just reduce that shininess. See, you can make it less shiny. So, like this I can actually control all the parameters over here. What is the eyelash color and eyelash length? If I drag it, see, you can see how my eyelashes are very long. See, my eyelashes are looking very long. So, the thing is you can manipulate it. I will bring it back and make it small. And similarly, see, you can add any kind of assets like this. Say for example, I will again come here. Now, this asset library is gone here. Now, I have to go to plus here, and I will go for search AR library. I will click on search AR library, and again in blocks, if I just scroll down in view all, if I scroll down, I have another effect here called eye color. So, I will select this eye color and I will import it. So, wait for it to get imported. So, once it is imported, I will drag eye color and add it to my scene. So, when I add eye color to my scene, you can see how my eye color changes. See how my eye color is changing. I can simulate. See, I can apply this kind of effect. Right now, this effect is applied on my Spark AR Studio, my local version. So, if I go to file and if I choose save, and when I click on save, say for example, I have created a folder for this in St. Joseph 2023 in Spark AR. I will create a folder called as 101, and this is makeup. I will call it as makeup. I will create a folder called 01 makeup, and I will give it the name also as 01 makeup, and I am going to save this file. So, when you actually save this file, what happens is if you come to your folder here, if you come to the 01 makeup, it creates a folder. This is the Spark Flare file, and along with it, it also saves all the assets that has been used in your project. So, and now I want this effect to be presented on Instagram or Facebook, means you have an option here called as test on device. So, if I click on test on device, so now here it can see, now it asks you what kind of, I have to add an experience. So, no experience type selected. So, click on add experience, and click on add experience here, and what kind of effect is this. So, I have to just is it a sharing effect or video calling effect. So, I am just leave it as sharing effect, and for which I have to experience for Instagram camera and Facebook camera, both I am going to select both and I am going to click done. So, now what happens is in export you have both the options, send it to Instagram and send it to Facebook. And now what I will do is one thing what you have to do is, if your Facebook and Instagram accounts are connected, it will automatically show up here. So, right now what you can see is you also have mobile Spark, Meta Spark Player. You can directly send it, you can connect your device through your USB cable directly, you can send it here and you can check it, that also you can do it. But right now what I will do is I am going to choose send here. I will click send to Instagram, and after it sends to Instagram you also have a test link here. So, you can select this, I can copy this link and I can send it to anyone to test it. So, I have received this link in my phone, and if I click on this link, you have one option here, test this effect. If I click on continue, now immediately you can see whatever effect is there, you are seeing it on my Instagram phone. So, whatever effect I had added, see with makeup and everything, you can see that effect is available on my Instagram. So, I can just test it, and this is very good for previewing it. So, I can test the effect, and after I test this, now the thing is, if you want to publish it, there is a different method we are going to use. You have one option here called publish. Okay, so, if I click on publish here, you can click on publish new effect or updated new effect. Now, here what happens is, whenever you publish it to your that is Instagram is going to review it, and then they are going to make it available to all the users. Apart from it, you have an option here called export. So, if I click on export here, and I am going to, in the same Spark AR01 makeup, I am going to save this file as 01 makeup.ar export, and if I save this, now you can download, you can go to Google Play Store or iOS Play Store, and you have an app there which is called as Spark Player. You can download that Spark Player, and in that Spark Player you can open this exported file and you can test the effect. So, with this we have just got an idea of how to use this Spark AR Studio to create a simple effect.